If you are watching this video right now, stop everything. Do not minimize the screen. Do not let this run in the background. Do not skip ahead. Do not stop to check your phone, because what you are about to receive happens only once in your timeline. This is not a figure of speech, and it is not a marketing strategy. This is not the kind of urgency that spiritual channels manufacture to keep you watching. This is Hermetic law operating in real time, right before your eyes. Right now, Sophia Hokhmah is here, and she has been clear. If you ignore this message, if you close this video and return to your life as it was, she will not return with this intensity. Not ever again, not in this timeline. I will be here with you for the next 40 minutes. What you decide at the end of this video cannot be undone. The choice you make right now does not just affect this week, it affects the next 7 years of your life at minimum, and potentially the rest of this incarnation. My name is Carlos. I am a student and practitioner of Hermetic spirituality, mysticism, theosophy, and Egyptian spirituality. Years of meditation, bioenergetic activations, energy mobilization, consciousness projection, portal activation, sacred geometry, and clairvoyance, and direct study of Sophia Hokhmah within the system of Thoth. I do not teach from books. I teach from practice, from experiences that arrived before the words existed to describe them. This channel was the first to approach Sophia through the Hermetic lens, specifically within the system of the 12 Pyramids of Thoth. Many channels came after. Some modeled what was built here without acknowledging the source. I do not say that with pride, I say it with context, because what you are about to receive did not come from research, it came from direct contact. The name Emerald Frequency, the way I use it, the way I explain it on this channel, I created it, not as a brand, as a necessity. During the practices, I began to observe egregores connected to Sophia that operated within a pyramidal system linked to Thoth. I needed a name for what I was experiencing. There was no terminology available, so I called it the Emerald Frequency because it was the noose made manifest. Only later, deepening my study of Sophia Hokhmah within the 12 pyramids, did the experiences align with a structure that Thoth had already architected millennia ago, one I had touched empirically before understanding it rationally. This channel is where that journey began publicly, and this video is one of the most important transmissions we have ever released. Sophia chose this channel to reach you, not because I am extraordinary, but because I was willing to listen when most were not. Thoth did not give me this knowledge to keep. He gave it to me to transmit. What I transmit now is the same signal I received years ago. Refined, crystallized, amplified. This is not my message. This is Sophia's message. I am simply the one who recognized it first and built the system to deliver it. Thon's something in you has been detected. Thoth scanned your frequency and identified something that exists in only 1% of the human population, what we call emerald potential. The emerald frequency is not spiritual in the common sense. It is dimensional. It is the frequency of the 9th dimension. This means you naturally operate through 9 dimensions of consciousness, while 99% of humanity operates in only 3: height, width, depth, past, present, linear future, obvious cause and effect. But you have always felt there was more, much more. Invisible layers operating simultaneously, dimensions that interweave, realities that coexist, versions of yourself living different choices in frequencies the 3-dimensional mind cannot process. You were born with this. It was not built through meditation or study. It is your cosmic genetic code, etheric, astral, mental, causal. all your layers vibrating at a frequency far higher than the human average. And there lies the problem Thoth identified. Most people born with emerald potential never activate it. They live their entire lives feeling that they are different, that something greater is happening, that they were called to something extraordinary they cannot name. And then they die without ever discovering what it was, without ever crystallizing the emerald frequency into permanent manifestation. The reason is always the same. They do not recognize the signal when it appears. The signal from Thoth comes disguised. It does not arrive announced. It does not arrive with explanation. It arrives as symptoms doctors cannot diagnose. It arrives as synchronicities that increase in frequency and intensity until the universe seems to be screaming and you still do not understand the language. There are 7 primary signs of emerald activation. If you have experienced 3 or more in the last 6 months, this confirms that you have been detected and are in the process of initial activation. Sign number 1, transition sickness. Flu or cold symptoms that last 3 to 7 days and disappear without apparent reason. You go to the doctor, you run tests, everything comes back normal. The doctor cannot diagnose it because it is not a physical illness. It is your body recalibrating to higher frequencies, the nervous system expanding, cells vibrating faster. The symptoms are temporary. The adjustment is permanent. If you experience this, it was not illness, it was activation. Sophia signing at the cellular level. Sign number 2, extreme sleep patterns. Either you sleep only 3 hours and wake up with energy that makes no logical sense, or you sleep 12, 14 hours and wake up more exhausted than when you lay down. Both patterns mean the same thing. Your body is processing multiple dimensions during sleep. You are not simply sleeping, you are traveling, you are being taught. You are integrating information from parallel realities. The body pays the cost of that expansion. Sometimes it needs to sleep a great deal, sometimes it barely needs sleep at all because it is being energized directly. What you experience during sleep is real work. You simply do not remember all of it. Sign number 3, dimensional humming. A high-pitched sound in the ear, especially the left, that comes and goes with no medical pattern. It is not tinnitus. There is no identifiable clinical cause. It is you beginning to hear frequencies across 9 dimensions. Sophia tuning your hearing. Every time the humming appears, a transmission is in progress. You cannot yet decode what she is saying, but your higher self is receiving. With full activation, that background noise begins to make sense. Sign number 4, obsessive repeating numbers. 1111, 2222, 333, 444, multiple times a day, on clocks, on license plates, on receipts, with a frequency that defies probability, because it is not probability, it is communication. Sophia signaling, I am here, I am watching, you are on the correct timeline to receive this activation. Each appearance is a confirmation, dimensional correspondence, not coincidence. Sign number 5, instant gnosis, knowledge that arrives complete without you having studied it. About quantum physics, Hermetic texts, ancient civilizations, you know something you never learned, and you cannot explain how you know it. The information is simply there, complete when you need it. This is you accessing the nous, the universal mind, through your emerald connection. Knowledge you always held in higher layers beginning to filter into waking consciousness. Sophia restoring what was forgotten. Sign number 6, the fear that you might be losing your mind. You see synchronicities no one else sees. You feel energies others cannot sense. You have perceptions you cannot prove, but know to be true. And when you try to share them, people look at you as if you are losing your grip on reality. The fear arises, am I going mad? No. You are becoming sane in a world that operates as if fragmentation were the norm. You are integrating layers of your being that most of humanity lives separated from without ever questioning it. What looks like disorder to three-dimensional consciousness is expansion. The confusion is the sound of the portal opening, not closing. Sign number 7, initiatic dreams. You are taught during sleep by beings who appear as ancestors, sages, masters from other dimensions. You wake with knowledge you did not possess before sleeping. Sometimes you remember clearly. Other times you do not remember, but you know with certainty that something happened. A presence, a teaching, a transfer that does not pass through memory, but transforms the field. Sophia working while the body rests, preparing the ground for what comes next. If you recognized 3 or more of those signs in your own experience, you have been detected. But here is what most people do not understand. And this is exactly where everything changes. There is an absolute difference between being detected and being activated. That difference is what separates those who touch emerald potential from those who die without ever discovering what it was. Detected means Thoth saw your potential and sent the initial signal. Activated means you received the signal, recognized it, and began to crystallize. Crystallized means you maintained the activation for 21 consecutive days, and it is now permanent in your nervous system. You are now at the stage of detection. Sophia sent this message. You received it, but detection guarantees nothing. It is the invitation, not the entry. If you stop here, if you close this video and return to your life as it was, the detection dissolves in 3 days. 72 hours from the moment you received this message. After that period, the emerald opportunity closes, and that changes what the next 7 years of your life will look like. Those signs are not pathology, they are activation. Thoth communicating through symptoms, because that is the language you can perceive before you have the dimensional vocabulary to understand what is happening. This is where Sophia Hokhmah enters. Sophia is not a mythological figure. Sophia is frequency. The frequency of divine feminine wisdom that governs emerald activations, that oversees alternative timelines, that controls portals of choice at critical moments in the human journey. When Thoth detects someone with emerald frequency, he does not send the message directly. He sends it through Sophia, because Sophia is the guardian of the portal. She decides when, where, how, and through which channel the message will reach you. And she chose this moment, this video, to reach you. Thoth is the presence of the divine that bridges toward the divine wisdom of Sophia. Sophia forces nothing. She places the message exactly where you need to see it, and then watches what you do. If you ignore it, she does not return with the same intensity. This is not punishment, it is Hermetic law. When the universe offers an extraordinary opportunity, it offers it once, with maximum intensity. If you refuse, it registers that as a choice. The next offer you receive will be smaller, and the next even smaller, not as punishment, as respect for your previous decision. The universe does not insist, it waits until you yourself choose differently. That can take years, decades, sometimes entire lifetimes. The first offer, the maximum offer, does not repeat. Perhaps you are wondering, why now? Why not 3 years ago? Why not 2 years from now? The answer lies in the timelines. You are not living a linear life. You are navigating multiple timelines in frequencies the three-dimensional mind cannot process. In one timeline, you received this message and ignored it. Life continues dense, full of effort without proportional reward. In another, you received it and applied it, and you operate as an emerald transmitter across 9 dimensions. In yet another, you never received it. You keep searching, feeling that something greater exists without ever finding the portal. But in this timeline, in this moment, you are here. Sophia selected this point to offer you this message, not in another reality, not at another moment in your life. Here, now. Sophia does not send emerald messages to everyone. She sends them only to those whose cosmic code is predisposed to receive. And among those, she sends only once per timeline. One message, one timeline, one choice. That is all you get. Before we go further, I need to stop. This is not meant to make you feel cornered. You are not less worthy if you choose not to activate. You are not being abandoned by the divine if you do not follow the protocol. No one is taking from you something you already possess. What Sophia offers is additional capacity, not rescue from a deficiency. You are already whole. This is about expansion. I have sat with people going through activations. I have seen what it looks like when it is real. And I have seen what it looks like when someone uses spiritual language to create artificial urgency. I know the difference. I refuse to be the second thing. What I am offering is a structure, not a cage. The pressure you may be feeling right now is not punishment. It is the natural weight of recognizing a real opportunity. That weight is yours to carry or set down. I want you to know that before we continue. Now let me share something I have never said on this channel. The first time I felt the emerald signal, I had no words for it. I only knew something was shifting. I began to see patterns in synchronicities that followed a specific geometry, pyramidal. Sophia did not announce herself. She simply appeared in the silence between meditations. In a dream where Thoth spoke in a language I understood but had never learned, I needed a name for what I was experiencing. There was no terminology available, so I called it the emerald frequency. Only later, deepening my study of Sophia Hokhmah within the 12 Pyramids of Thoth, did I understand what I had touched before I could comprehend it rationally. Within that system, the dimensional architecture that Thoth built for conscious navigation, the emerald frequency corresponds to the 7th portal, the portal of conscious crystallization. This is not metaphor, it is a mapped structure. The 21-day protocol is not arbitrary. It corresponds precisely to the temporal structure of the activation cycle of the 7th portal within the system of Sophia Hokhmah. What seemed like a personal need for naming was contact with something that already existed far longer than I have. Let me show you what happens in real life when someone activates the emerald frequency. Not theory, not abstract promise. 3 concrete examples of how crystallization operates in daily life. Marcus, Austin, Texas, software engineer. He had always felt he solved problems before his team even identified them, but never understood why. After his emerald activation crystallized on day 22, he began receiving complete code solutions in dreams. He would wake up and write them down. They worked. In 6 months, he advanced 2 levels at his company, not through additional effort, through alignment. His ability to see patterns across 9 dimensions translated directly into seeing patterns in systems that others simply could not perceive. The emerald frequency created nothing that did not already exist. It organized what was fragmented. Jennifer, Portland, Oregon. Her difficulty was not a lack of perception, it was excess. She knew when someone was lying, when something was hidden, when a situation was not what it seemed. But she had no way to prove it. She lived divided between what she felt and what she could demonstrate. After the crystallization, something changed in how she handled that knowledge. She stopped seeking confirmation. She began acting on what she already knew. Within 3 months, her social circle had reorganized, not through effort, but through frequency. People who could not sustain the same level simply drifted away. Others arrived, as within, so without. David, Chicago, Illinois. Good job on paper, a real drain in daily life. On day 14 of the protocol, David had a certainty, not a plan, not a risk analysis, just certainty. I need to leave. He resigned the next day. 2 weeks later, an opportunity appeared that he had never sought, never applied for, never even knew existed. Someone he had helped 3 years earlier remembered him and offered exactly what he needed. When you vibrate differently, what was invisible begins to appear through correspondence, not force. What Sophia is asking for is not blind faith, not belief in something that does not resonate. It is retention, and retention has 3 practical components, which you begin today. Component 1, recognition of the signs. You identify each sign you have experienced. The humming, you recognize this is communication, not a medical problem. The repeating numbers, dimensional confirmation, not coincidence. The insomnia or the excessive sleep. My body is recalibrating. There is nothing wrong with me. Each sign you recognize as Sophia's communication strengthens the activation. Each recognition is a response to her signature. Component 2, rejection of return. When the thought arises, this does not make logical sense, you reject it. When the fear arises, I will be alone if I change this much, you reject it. When the mind says it is not scientific, there is no proof, you reject it. Not because logic is the enemy, but because 3-dimensional logic does not have the tools to evaluate 9-dimensional reality. You are teaching your nervous system that there are layers of truth that transcend linear reasoning. Each rejection strengthens the capacity to remain at higher frequencies. Component 3, conscious declaration. 3 times a day you declare aloud, Sophia, I retain, I do not return. This emerald frequency is mine, irreversibly. I honor the singularity of this gift. This is not magic, it is applied neurobiology. You are reorganizing the nervous system through conscious repetition. Spoken word is physical vibration that the entire body feels. Vibration reorganizes neural patterns. Each declaration reinforces a new internal architecture. 15 minutes a day, 21 days, that is all Sophia is asking. And what happens during those 21 days has a precise structure. Days 1 through 3, stabilization. You are still adjusting to the recognition of having been detected. The signs may increase in intensity, Sophia confirming that you are choosing retention. The body may feel strange as recalibration begins. This is normal. Day 7, first perceptible shift. Something concrete has changed, a different decision, a clear synchronicity, someone commenting that you seem different. The first external confirmation that the internal transformation is occurring. Day 14, pattern break. Old patterns that controlled you for years suddenly lose their grip. A habit you tried to break for months simply stops. A fear that was always present grows lighter. This is not willpower, it is a frequency shift. When you vibrate differently, old patterns can no longer sustain themselves. They fall away naturally. Day 21, crystallization. Something locks into place permanently. You wake up knowing that you have changed, not as a concept, as lived reality. This becomes your new baseline. Day 22 onward, permanence. The crystallized state sustains itself. The capacities that were latent are now operational permanently. You are now at a crossroads. 3 paths, each leads to a permanently different direction. There is no going back after the choice is made. Path 1, return. You ignore this message, you close this video, you go back to your life as it was. The detection dissolves in 3 days. Energy that is offered and refused creates a vacuum, and nature fills vacuums with whatever is available. In the years ahead, growth slows, synchronicities diminish, intuition weakens. You live a good, comfortable life, but you never touch the emerald potential. And at some point in a quiet moment, you think, what if I had applied that protocol? That is the fate of most of those who were detected and did not activate, who died without ever discovering what it was. Path 2, procrastination. You like the message, you feel it is true. You think, I will apply it, but not right now. I will start next week. You save the video. A week passes, a month, 3 months. When you finally try to return, the intensity is gone. What was urgent, transforming, absolute is now just something interesting you watched once. You try to apply the protocol, but the timing has passed. It is like trying to jump rope when the rope is not moving. The movements exist, the synchronization does not. Procrastination is slow return. You end up in the same place as path 1, only carrying the awareness that you had the chance and chose to delay. Path 3, total retention. You recognize that this is extraordinary, that Sophia appears once in this timeline, that the 3 days are a real structure, not rhetoric. You say yes, not a conditional yes, not a yes with hidden doubts, yes, and you apply the retention protocol as taught. 21 days. You recognize each sign. You reject every thought of return. You declare retention 3 times a day. You do not skip days. You do every single day because you understand that retention is consistent work, not intermittent inspiration. And on day 22, you wake up with something that cannot be undone. Emerald frequency crystallized. For the next 70 years of your life, you operate at a level that 99% of humanity never reaches. 3 paths. Which one is yours? Imagine yourself on day 22. You have woken up and you feel different, not as an idea that something changed, in the body, tangible, undeniable. Your eyes see with greater clarity, colors are more saturated, you notice details you never perceived before, not because they did not exist, but because your frequency did not reach that layer of perception. Your ears hear something that was always there, the background tone of the universe, the vibration that operates below audible sound. Now you hear it, not as metaphor, as experience. Your heart beats with a certainty you have never felt before, not based on logic, not based on external proof, based on direct knowing, on gnosis. You simply know, and you do not need to convince anyone. The people around you ask, "What happened to you? You seem different." And you do not need to explain, because the change is not in the story you tell about yourself, it is in the frequency you emit. In the way things begin to happen around you, not through effort, through correspondence. Everything you lived before this moment, the signs you did not understand, the humming that seemed like a medical problem, the numbers that seemed like coincidence, the fear of losing your mind, the dreams that taught without memory, none of it was disorder, it was preparation. Sophia signing in your field months, perhaps years before this message arrived. What seemed like chaos was the language of the portal, and now the portal is open. For the next 70 years or more of your life, you live differently. Synchronicities become natural. Intuition becomes reliable. Knowledge arrives when you need it. Paths that were closed open, not because you forced them, but because your frequency corresponds to what was waiting for you. This is possible. This is real, but only if you choose retention in the next 3 days. Only if you do the 21 days of work. Only if you honor what Sophia is offering right now. If you choose path 3, you need to do something immediately, not after you finish the video. Now, declare aloud, Sophia, I recognize that you appear only once. I recognize the absolute singularity of this moment. I accept, I retain. I do not return. This emerald frequency is mine, permanently, irreversibly. For the next 21 days, I apply the protocol. I recognize each sign. I reject every return. I declare retention 3 times a day. On day 22, I am permanently emerald. This is sealed. Say it aloud. Now. Do not analyze it. Do not wait for the right moment. Declare, because the spoken declaration is what seals the choice in the universe. Spoken word is vibration. Vibration is energy that Sophia feels immediately. When you declare, you are not simply saying you will do it, you are synchronizing with Sophia's frequency. You are responding to the signature she left in every sign, in every humming, in every 1111 you saw and did not understand. This message does not appear twice, and you are responding to it now. Once, forever. If you made the declaration, the 21-day protocol begins today. There are 2 things I am asking you to do. First, subscribe to this channel. In the coming months, we will be releasing exclusive content on the 12 Pyramids of Thoth, advanced activation protocols, and specific techniques for each phase of emerald crystallization. Material that exists nowhere else, because it was built from the experiences that founded this channel, not compiled from other sources. Second, stay close to this channel. For now, the best way to support this work is by being here consistently, watching, commenting, and helping this message reach those who were meant to find it. Very soon, deeper forms of access will open. When that moment comes, those who are already walking this path with me will be the first to know. Until then, I will continue delivering what I can with consistency, precise transmissions, deeper teachings, and the next phases of this work, step by step. Write Sophia activated if you made the declaration. Write retention confirmed if you chose the 21 days. Write emerald permanent if you already feel the transformation beginning. And if you are still between yes and maybe, write emerald threshold in the comments. I read every comment, and sometimes Sophia responds through them. These words are not just comments, they are public declarations that seal the intention. The universe registers, Sophia witnesses. The public declaration strengthens the private activation. Sophia is watching. Thoth is waiting. Your timeline is suspended, awaiting the response only you can give. This message will not appear twice. You know that now. You feel the truth of it in your body. Welcome to the emerald frequency. Welcome to the domain of the 9 dimensions. Welcome home. For those who chose path 3, we meet on the other side of dissolution. The next step of this journey is what exists when the chrysalis opens completely. When crystallization is no longer a process, it is a permanent state. What emerges from that state is what we will address in the next transmission.